go talk about a little bit about the projects. So this is, guys, the last chapter in this tiny little book, Adam, that talks about project management. And if you guys followed with me, I have the PowerPoint presentation, not a whole lot of information in it. But if you guys remember when we started with this little tiny booklet about project management, we talked about project management, introduction to project management. That was one chapter. We talked about change. When you have people answering to you, Karen, change is hard. Every time you switch gears, I get mad. Every time my wife wants to go to a different, Rainbow is closing in Bloomington. I don't know if anybody live in that area there. Rainbow's got bought by somebody or splitting it. So anyway, so to go to a different store, I get upset because you have to find your way through and all this good stuff. So guys, change is hard, and we talked about how do you deal with change and make the people buy into the change. That was chapter 2. Chapter 3, Adam talked about leadership and motivation, and we talked about the best way to get the best approach to get the best out of people is basically by getting their buy-in to the product, and we talked about leadership. Chapter 4, Adam talked about communication, and we talked, I think the major thing about communication was communication is two-way street. You have to tune to the frequency that the sender is sending, and so the sender have to send at one frequency, and the receiver have to tune to that frequency. And both have to adjust. So if you can't receive my frequency, I have to adjust my frequency, and you have to adjust tuning to that to whatever frequency you can receive. So we talked about communication. Different ways of communication. That was chapter 4. Chapter 5, we talked about forming teams, Adam. And how do you form teams? You're going to be working in a team as a project manager or as an employee. The last thing you want to be known is you're not a team player. That you hear the term all the time. Well, he's not a team player. He's not a team player. So you need to form a team that's cohesive, that can work properly together smoothly in order to produce a successful project. Derek, and I'm not an expert in diversity, but we talked about diversity, how to deal with people who are different than you. Not a whole lot in our industry, the construction industry, but you'll be encountering males, females, people from different cultures. And we all agreed that we respect people and people who agree and disagree with them. And if we don't do it, Derek, because we're morally conscious, we do it because we're legally conscious, right? So that's the two different things. And I'm not picking on you, Derek, today. I'm just looking at you here. I know you're morally conscious, too. Setting goals and securing commitment. We talked about how in every project you have to set the goal. The goal of every project, Karen, is to have a successful project. And it's gauged, electrically speaking, or any construction project within budget, on time, with a happy internal and external customers, with a quality work. That's the perfect successful project. In order to reach this goal, we talked about scheduling. You have to have a plan. Dreaming of a successful project, guys, without a plan is going to get you nowhere. So you have to have a plan, and we talked about different ways of scheduling and tools for scheduling. Then we took the schedule to the next level in chapter 9, guys, and we talked about network analysis and duration estimate. So we start talking about how to assign the earliest possible start and finish, and the duration of the project and what's not. Then we moved into resource management, the human resources, capital resources, and how do you manage all this. And the last chapter yesterday, we talked about project control. And we talked about detecting and solving problems and what's not. And today, my friend, the last chapter in this book talk about project control techniques. The techniques of project control. So, Derek, the techniques of project control, there is, we have a schedule, we keep an eye on the schedule, and like we said yesterday, guys, the single most important thing is having a plan. When you have a project, you have a plan. And the plan is made out of time and resources. That's called the schedule. You have to have a schedule. When you have a schedule, as a project manager, you have to keep a good eye at the schedule. It's not enough to have a schedule or a plan, guys, and leave it alone. You have to keep an eye on your schedule. In order to control, that's called project control. Keep an eye on your schedule, your project control. So project meetings, there's a periodic control techniques, guys, and they're summarized as the periodic ones, regularly. There's construction meetings. Monday morning meetings, guys, for the construction project or engineering projects, that's part of your periodic control meetings. You have a plan, you have the schedule, you know who's doing what, when, and where, and how much money is allocated to every part of your project. Now, the next step is to keep an eye on it, right? I know I need to spend this amount of money by the end of May. And then if I don't keep an eye on it, comes June and you spend more than what you allocated for. So you have to have so-called periodic meetings in order to have your so-called periodic control techniques. One of them, Adam, is periodic meetings. The goal of these meetings is to make sure the project is on track and under control. So when you look at in these meetings, you're supposed to look at, are we on time? Are we where we're supposed to be for this week? Have we do we have all the resources? And have we, in terms of cost, are we where we want to be within this week in terms of cost? So it's not enough, guys, to come at the end of the project and say, "Hoops, we're $2 million in the hole." You go periodic meetings, typically weekly meetings, that you go through the schedule, construction schedule, and say, we are done with phase one, or we're done with 10% of phase one. We have exhausted 10% of the resources for phase one, and nobody got killed. No, we have no problems, or we have problems and we need to solve them. So you keep track of it in little segments. That's how you can guarantee, guys, at the end of the project that the project is successful. So only way you can guarantee it. You have a plan, you have a schedule, keep track of the schedule periodically, which is typically weekly. So these are your project meetings. There's something called official plug log and personal project log. We'll talk about these one, guys, in a second here. Project reporting. Let's talk a little bit about project meeting and tracking. So part of your periodic control, guys, is to have so-called meetings. Meetings. A lot of people, guys, hate meetings, but look at them. Direct, look at this one and compare this one to the meeting that you have. Look at that. Project meetings. Why do we have the meeting? If you don't have a reason to meet, do not interrupt people's life and meet. Most of engineering project, guys, or construction project have a weekly meeting, Monday morning meeting at 8 o'clock, an hour or half an hour meeting to go over the what have been done last week and what we are planning to do this week. So for meetings, time horizon, you have to set a time, Karen, for the meeting. You can't just have an open-ended meeting or open start, open-ended meeting. For the construction, it might work on brainstorming and other meetings, but if you have a construction meeting, you have to have a duration. I want this meeting to last for half an hour. Invite only those who must contribute. I want to have a meeting where only Karen and Derek are involved and contribute to this project. I shouldn't invite Adam and Matt and interrupt their life just because I want them to feel good about it. So only invite the people who can contribute to the meeting, the people who need to be informed or they have something to contribute to the meeting. So that's that. When you guys become project manager, be very aware of that. Duration of the meeting, half an hour or an hour, and people who are invited, who are directly affected or have things to contribute to the meeting. Distribute agenda in advance. If you have, I always say, guys, if you have a meeting with no agenda, you have no meetings. So when you have a meeting, have an agenda for the meeting. Sunday morning or Sunday night, Derek, because you're a big project manager, send that email to the people, or a good project manager will give him guys some time. So like Friday morning, send an email with the agenda. This is what we're going to be discussing on Monday morning meeting. So please have a look at it and get me any feedback that you have. So have an agenda, send it in advance to the people. They can add to the agenda. Start and finish exactly on time. Derek, have you been in a meeting that started late and finished late? This is a killer, time killer. When you guys have a meeting, and we have them here a lot, your meeting must start on time and finish on time. People's life, if 5 of us are having a meeting and we sit over here and waiting for Karen or Matt or Derek or Adam to show up, here's 15 minutes burn. There are meetings that we have, guys, half an hour meeting, people come 15 minutes late to a half an hour meeting. If I was the supervisor, This is very unacceptable. If it comes once, I understand, you know, but regularly, habitual, be very aware. And you guys know I'm lean with you coming in here a little bit late. But if you were working for my own firm, Matt, and you don't have, you know, being punctual, especially for meetings, is a big deal. So start and end the time. And end. There are managers, guys, who sit there and yak and yak and yak. Is supposed to go for half an hour. They go an hour and a half. You should not go more than an hour and a half. You told the people it's going to be an hour. And if you are, Derek, you should ask for an excuse. I am sorry. Can we extend this meeting because of urgency? Something happened, right? So you should apologize. You should ask the people if they can do it or if they have other things, and excuse the people who can't make it. Respect people's time. So start and finish on time for your periodic meetings. Keep meeting focused. Adam, I was a manager for 6 years, and there's faculties who want to sit. They don't see each other that much, and they want to sit and visit. And we have half an hour meeting, and you want to sit and visit for 15 minutes. Here's the meeting. When you guys have a construction meeting, make sure the meeting is focused. Doesn't mean you have to be a dictator, but Derek is going to start talking about sports a little bit. Okay, we'll give him 1 minute. If he takes more than 1 minute, maybe slightly nicely remember the type of the leaders you're going to be, right? Pragmatic leaders, so kind of pull Derek apart and aside, and or maybe direct him into the agenda. So keep the meeting focused. Get update first. When you start the meeting, Adam, the first thing you need to do is ask them, Karen, where are you in this project? Matt, before you start telling them, get the feedback from the people, and then you start. That's part of your update. Press for critical path solutions. Remember, we talked about the scheduling. There's critical path. That's what you're going to keep your eye, because that's the one that screw up your project. Have we received the switch gear? Have we received the generator? Derek, you're in charge of buying these 2 MIG generators. Update me on the latest. Where are we? Okay, Chad, it's going to be coming in 2 weeks. Is it part of the schedule? Yep, we said 2 weeks. We're good. We're on track. So are you sure? Is there any obstacles? The critical path, because if we don't get them, we're behind within 2 weeks. There's a lot of equipment, guys, that you have a lead of 6-8 weeks before you get these pieces of equipment, like generators and switch gears and what's not. Assign action items. When you're done with your meeting, go over the agenda, guys. And I told you guys yesterday, the worst thing you can do to yourself when you go to a meeting with your boss is you go empty-handed. Take a piece of paper with you and your planner, or a piece of paper and a pen, or your planner and a pen. And wherever there's an item list, make sure you write this item. Derek, I'm your supervisor. I would like the power done on Friday. So Derek will say, and it was scheduled to be done on Saturday morning, or Monday morning. I want it now on Friday. So Derek will write, and of course we negotiate. Can you do it? Oh yeah, Chad, I'll do it. So you write yourself a note. My boss wants it done on Friday, and I buy into it. Why? I have to tell you why, though. I'm not just want to pick on you. Give you the reason. You buy into it because you're a team player. So write yourself. So action. Assign action items. You have to have action. Who's doing what, when, and where in these meetings, if any, which always is. Document. You have to write the meeting says. Document that you met, the things that have been discussed, and the action have been given. So next time when we meet, I will look at Karen and say, Karen, where are you at this particular item? And Karen will say, done, Chad, done, check, move on. See how you keep track of the items that you're supposed to do. Close the meetings. At the end, guys, you have to have a closing of meetings. You can't let the meeting melt. If it's half an hour, before the half an hour is over, the last minute you take it to close the meetings and plan for next meeting. Okay, guys, we need more things to discuss. So either we're going to schedule another meeting, or we can push them into next scheduled meeting, which is going to be next week on Monday morning. Any comments, guys, about this so-called periodic control techniques, meetings, Adam? Sometimes they use emails but most of the construction people use meetings. When I told you guys we are the electrical construction, and I keep drawing this one. Here's my A, here's my B, here's your fluctuation. You're going to hear this one all the time, and you are controlling that fluctuation, that path. You are sitting in here. One of these techniques that you do is meetings. The meetings, will make sure, are we within the fluctuation range or are we not? If we're not, we need to, you as a project manager need to interfere. Your head is on the line. When the project fail, guys, they don't come to Adam as a designer. I didn't know, I'm not in charge. They told me what to do, right? They come to your boss, who's in charge of you, the project manager. It's your job. That's why they kind of push you a little bit. You are in charge. It's your job to keep trying to make sure that Adam has delivered what he's supposed to do within the time frame. So, any question, guys, about the meetings? If you want to take something out of this project, guys, take that meetings have to be focused on time, start at efficient time, with an agenda, with items, action items that you have to do. I hate it when and went to meetings that's open-ended. People will roll in whenever they want to, leave in. It shows that the meeting is not important. When people don't show up, guys, for a meeting on time, and the meetings goes over time, this means you don't respect the people who are in this meeting, number one, and the meeting is not important. That's why people don't take it serious. They don't show up. So maybe you shouldn't have a meeting. Any comments, guys, about the first techniques of periodic control, which is meetings? Any comments, any questions? Derek, does it make sense? When you write your meetings with the people who answer to you, make sure you do that. The second one, guys, is called official project log. This is change order. So another thing that periodic control, you have to keep an eye on, have the customers change their mind, and do we have a change order? Do you guys remember when we went to Egan, how they do the change order through Accubed? They keep track of all the change order. Change order, guys, right here, Adam, right at this point, we got a change order. Look what happened. Now, it fluctuates further. So this now, because we have change order, we need to change certain things. It takes more time and resources. It doesn't matter as long as the customer can buy into it. If the change order, if you want to do change order as a customers, you and I, we're going to agree that it's going to take us a week, an extra week to do what you want us to do, because the change order, you change your mind basically. And we need $10,000 to do it. So the customer is okay, $10,000 to do it, and it's going to take us an extra week. You put it in your schedule. They call it official log. You log it into your schedule. You know right here, there was a change order. That's why we fluctuate from our schedule. You extend your schedule and you keep going. Does that make sense, guys? That change order, the most important thing about the change order is to know that you have been compensated time and resources, time and money basically, for the change order from the owner, communicated with all this discipline, so the mechanical contractor have to know that the owner have changed their mind. They don't want to put the switch gear here after we did it. They don't like it, so they came and say, we would like you guys to move from here to here. Well, no problem, but guess what? Now it's going to take us an extra week and a $10,000 to do that. No problem, but we don't want it there. Right? That's a change order. So you sign it, you plug it in, you give it to the customer, they sign it, you put it in your schedule, you inform everybody else. The mechanical contractor who's supposed to be next week working in this area have to be informed that they're pushed 1 week because of a change order in the electrical. That has to be communicated by the general contractor, guys. General contractor will be involved, right? You need an extra week, but this corner was supposed to be for mechanical that particular week. So you communicate it to the mechanical stretch their schedule another week, so everybody's informed. Any comments, guys, about the change order? That's another periodic control techniques. And the other one is personal project log. There's they call it official project log. That's a change order. Personal project log. That's you. You keep writing yourself things. The switch gear is going to be delayed. It's supposed to be, we have 2 weeks to get the switch gear done, shipped to us. Now it's going to take a week and a half. So you write yourself, wow, we have half a week to play with. We might be able to finish the project ahead, or 2.5 weeks. So you write yourself, guys, a note that something got screwed up. Or lighting fixtures we need to replace. So you keep logging, personal log of all the projects. Derek, when we went to Egan, did you see the folders? How many folders the project manager have? The job of the project manager, guys, is keep track of everything, all this stuff. And you can't wait for your accounting in the company to get you. Oops, the project is $2 million in the hole. You can't wait for that. You should know that you are $10,000 down before the $10,000 is added to another 20, to another 30, and keep adding up to $2 million. So as you control, you keep track of the process. weekly meetings, weekly tracking of how, Adam, when you work with Mashad Kuli, when you submit your timesheet on a weekly basis, your project manager take them, add them up, and say we have 200 hours for this project, and we are now sitting this week. As of this week, we're sitting at 90 hours, and the project is halfway done. Okay, we're good from 200. We're almost halfway. So keep track of the time. So that's your tracking time and tracking resources, tracking your time and tracking resources. So everything when you track and you do the control, guys, tracking charts for your time and resources as part of your schedule. Project reporting, you are supposed to report on all this stuff, guys, for all involved parties. Like I said, we're only 10% of the project, so the project manager, the general contractor, need to be informed of every change that could affect other disciplines. If it doesn't affect other disciplines, Adam, I don't need to inform the general contractor that my schedule is 2 weeks behind. That's a fact, right? If I'm within my schedule, no need to interrupt their life, I guess. So reporting, informing stakeholder of project status and projections. So you are part of your meetings, guys, is to inform how are we doing with this project? Are we on track, off track? If we're off track, how can we get ourselves on track? Assigning team members in staying on track. So assisting the people staying on track. Confirming action items as a result of agreements and change. Supporting requests for changes in resources, time and or scope. Fulfilling contractual obligations, keep the flow of funding. All these, guys, is your job. Do we have material for phase 2 of the project? Do we have the manpower? Am I coordinating with the foreman in the field as a project manager? Is the foreman in the field pulling the exact amount of hour for this phase of the project? So I'm assigning, if you guys are assigning, remember how Accubit can report based on power, low voltage, lighting, sheets, phase, all this information, guys, it will be given to the project manager. The project manager knows that in order to finish the power for the first floor mat, you need to have 2,000 hours. Now you keep track of them week by week, and if you see you are way fluctuating more than week, you have to go to the foreman and say, well, you guys have submitted more hours than allocated to you. So next week you have to kind of speed up a little bit. You know what I mean? You can adjust it. So your job, guys, is to keep pushing here and here, to keep the process, to keep the fluctuation with a minimum. So that's part of the whole reporting, informing stakeholders, anybody who has anything to do with the project, if any change in the project have to be informed. And all these guys happen through Gantt charts. What they do with Gantt chart, we haven't done it there, Matt. First, you do the schedule through the Gantt chart, and then you do the actual. You do one for the plan and one for the actual, and you put them side by side. So week 1, we're supposed to be May 30th, we're supposed to be finished with power. That's the plan, right? Right underneath it, the actual. It's May 30th, and we are May 25, and we're done with power. Great, we're ahead, right? Or it is June, and we're not done with power, June 3rd, and we're not done power, we're behind. So it keeps a track. You have a plan, and you have actual. You keep comparing with each other. Again, time and material, dollar value, and time and material. And if you are ahead, great. If you are behind, you need to interfere to keep yourself on track. That's where the creating the Gantt charts, the actual. And there's a lot of Gantt charts here, guys, that you can do. Action items, reporting to help stay on track. So the meetings, guys, here's a schedule of the meetings that you should have. Action items when you have a meeting, Derek, you have to say right on your meeting, the action item that needs to be done, the project, the meetings, who's in the meeting, what date, what time, when it's done. All these record for the record. Past due items, items due by next review, new action items, items for discussion. That's part of your meeting plan. And they have a really nice sheet, guys, here in the book that gets you the things that you keep track to keep your project on track, basically. 'Cause Okay, so that's part of your periodic, guys. There's personal log and official logging, tracking of your time, actual time and resources, and comparing it to the budgeted items or the to the planned item. Um, and report all these meetings and log them in and have the action items. The last thing you want to do, guys, is we have a meeting and you don't know a lot of meetings that well, some people do. At the end of the meeting, you ask the people, well, what are we supposed to do? Why did we meet? Well, there's no action items. And action items, we're on track, we're doing good. Okay, so everybody got the idea that the project is on track and we're doing good. And then what's my share of the action items? I'm supposed to finish power on Friday. So use this your action, you put it on your list and you start working on it. Okay, so this is your periodic control techniques. A lot of meetings, a lot of documentation of the meetings, change orders, and personal login, keep track and you document all this stuff, communicate everything with the stakeholders. Anybody who's engaged or involved in this project, guys, have to be communicated to and with, and reporting all this stuff. Any comments, guys, about the periodic control techniques? Any comments, any questions? And these are, a lot of them, guys, are common sense. The second one, guys, is called preventative control techniques. Periodic, you set the schedule, Derek, and you meet on a Monday morning. Preventative control techniques, you know what a preventative control techniques, before you wait to Monday morning, you as a project manager, you have 6 people working for you, you walk to their office because they're down the hallway, and you say, you make it a habit that you walk around, check. So you have, these are called preventative control techniques. Walk into Adam's doing power before you wait for one whole week. See, Adam, how are we doing with power today? So walk around. You don't have to be micromanaging, but at least you can keep track of people by walking around, being visible, ask questions, be friendly, of course. You don't want to be micromanaging. So by doing it this way, guys, call the vendors, for example. By doing it this way, you can find the preventative, you can find potential problems. You're going to find your potential problems. You can anticipate that there will be a problem. If you walk in or you talk to Adam, say on Wednesday, and Adam is not done with the power, he's barely 10% done with the power, you can see by Friday, it's almost impossible for Adam to finish the power by Friday. So what do you do as a project manager, Derek? You can contact another project manager in your office and say, hey, do you guys have somebody that can help Adam? So because you know you interfere, if you have a potential problem that he will not be able to deliver his stuff on Friday, instead of waiting until Friday and now we're behind, we're screwed up, you can walk in, this potential problem, let's intervene. Call another project manager. Do you guys have somebody available to help us with power? Yep. Here's Matt. Matt is available. We shift Matt directly, take half of the power from Adam, and they start working together. We deliver on track. That's where you interfere as a project manager, guys. So you identify the potential problems and you solve them. You identify the potential problems and you solve them. Find potential problems. So here's the techniques that they do, and I can't emphasize, these are common sense, guys. Get out of the office. The worst thing that could do as a project manager, guys, is stay in your office. You don't want to stay in your office. And at the same time, you don't want to be seen as micromanager. Get out of your office. Walk around. Have a cup of coffee. Grab your cup of coffee and go talk to Matt in the morning. How are you doing, Matt? Great. People like that, don't you, Derek? You like when your boss comes and and visit with you, have a cup of coffee for just 2 minutes, maybe in the morning. Oh, how are you doing? Oh, great, boss, and move on. Get out of the office. Listen more closely to people. Ask questions in a nice way. You don't want to be micromanaging. Listen to the people. These are part of preventative. Remember, we're not in a meeting. It's not official. Just walk around and listen to the people. Snap a string across your chart. We're not going to talk about. Read your CCs. When you are CC'd on an email, a lot of project managers, guys, okay, CC'd. Somebody else is doing. Read the CC. If Adam is contacting contacting Square D for a switch gear, and he copied you on the email, read it. Read your CC on this email. It's a lot of work, but read it. Make sure you read it. Don't ignore it. He could be making a major mistake, and you will be liable. So read the CCs when you're CC'd on a project. Reinforce team membership accountability. Make sure you're accountable for one thing in a nice way. Remember, we're not dictators. I want you to buy into it. And ultimately, when the project is done, I gauge my success as how happy you are to work for me on this project. That's part of my success. Not only deliver the project on time, within budget, with a quality work and happy customers, but also I want to gauge how happy you are to have worked for me as a project manager. I might not get you to be 100% happy, but if I can achieve 70%, that's good. So keep in mind, guys, and with that comes accountability. If you're accountable for lighting, like we said, we picked on Adam and said Adam was not able to deliver the power on Friday. So we supported him with another person. Then Adam and I will meet and say, what happened? Why can't you finish it on Friday? Maybe you have to explain to me if it's doable within Friday. You have to explain to your boss why weren't you able to deliver what had been assigned to you. And as it's as easy as it's a lot of work. There's a lot of changes. You know what I mean? Just you owe him or her an explanation. Does that make sense? Owe him or her an explanation. Be inquisitive. I encourage everybody else to do the same. Inquisitive. Ask questions on what's not. Resolve problems on the spot. Remember, the longer the problem guys sits, so if I know Adam and you work for me at Mishad Kuli and I know by Wednesday you're done only with 10% of the power, no way on earth you're going to finish it on Friday. I can tell as project manager. On the spot, go walk around the office, go to another team, and I said, I would like to borrow one of your designers. You guys have another designer that we can help Adam to deliver by Friday. We can't work over weekends. Immediately pick another designer, assign half of the project to him, and move on. Can you guys see how you don't sit around until Friday and gotcha type of, you need to solve the problem. That's your job as a project manager. Facilitate resolution at the source. Raise flag to all concerned. Hold immediate. Have many shops and what's not. Okay, we'll go with that. Involve technical experts. Negotiate the trade-offs. Close the loop. This is your job, and keep running schedule daily. Supply or concerned with a new schedule. So you keep your job, guys, is to make sure that everything is on track. Not at the end of the project, but in a weekly basis. That's the official. On a daily basis, that's the preventative one. So don't sit in your office and listen to your favorite music, Derek, and say I'm project manager. And while everybody else is going up there and screwing your project, in a nice way, keep around, have a team, you're a team, or team leader. So walk around, have a cup of coffee. A lot of people even guys go for lunch with their team. Let's go for lunch today. You don't pay it, but they go to lunch, talk about the project, talk about life to build a relationship and what's not. Also, your job, guys, as part of your preventative maintenance, preventative control techniques is keep the commitment alive. Keep the people excited about project. We're building a stadium. So keep encouraging people. If the morale is down, Derek, and they're working and they're hard, and it's winter in Minnesota, and everybody's pissed off, it's snow and ice and what's not, buy him lunch that day. Take him to a game. Do something. Remember your team, guys. You can make or break your project, and there is a correlation between time and performance, but putting time in the office does not mean you're performing. Be aware of that. You guys are aware of it as employees, and as a manager, managers are aware of it. Just sitting at your office, at your desk does not mean you are fully performing. I can sit at my desk and perform 50% or 100%. You know what I mean? So people perform more when they're happy, Adam, right? When they're happy, they perform more. So keep the commitment alive. Manage your time. Another thing as a project manager, Derek, you have to be very careful with managing your time. Managing your time is a big deal. So in order to manage your time, you have to set priorities. There's either I can go talk to Adam and he's doing power and the power is due in 2 months, or I can talk to you, Matt, and you're doing lighting and lighting is doing this week. Which one do you think I should pay more attention to? You're right there. We have a due date on Friday. So I have put your priorities in order, guys. And a good project manager, I told you guys about the planner. I use I don't manage millions of projects, but I use a planner. Everybody plan what you're going to do every day. A good project manager will have a planner, electronic planner or a hard copy planner. Set the things that you need to do, and check them. Done, done. I want to go visit today for this project. I want to go sit and check what Dirk is sneaking and doing there, right? I'm going to go, yep, check, done. You know what I mean? So because we are human beings, we forget. We have baseball games for our children, right, guys? And we have football, and we have all this good stuff going on in our life, and fights with the significant others is involved. As a project manager, you have a life, and you have a project that also part of your life. So get organized, planners, the major things. I like the hard copy planners because it keeps a record of you. Electronic planners are awesome too because you can carry them anywhere else and pull them. So planners, determine the task requested and do it now. So prioritize. Avoid time killers. When you have a plan to do certain things, guys, there's something called time killers, things that you don't like to do. Commitment, Adam, is defined as by a gentleman, can't remember his name, that we went to, a speaker. He said one thing, I love it, the way he said commitment. Commitment is to do the things that you don't like to do at the most inconvenient time. That's what commitment is. To do the things that you don't like to do, not the things that, if you like to do the things, that's not commitment, right? The things that you do not like to do at the most inconvenient time. But could it be worse than that? Doing the things they don't like to do, Derek, at the most inconvenient time to you. That's what called commitment. So as a project manager, guys, with our employees, they give them a slack. As a project manager, commitment to you is much higher than to the employees. Committed meaning if you don't like to do budget, you hate numbers as a project manager, you're a person, that's something that you don't like, and especially Monday morning, right, at 8 o'clock, you're barely waking up from the weekend and all the partying and what's not. That's when you sit there in your office and you do your budget that day, 8 o'clock in the morning, and do budget that you don't like to do. That's called commitment. So procrastination, avoid this one as a project manager, of course. Phone and drop-ins, people would like to call you all the time. So remember, you need to do the things at the most inconvenient time to you, the things that you don't like. That's called commitment. Phone, people like to call you guys. So a lot of people pick up the phone if people wants to interrupt you too much. If you need to do a budget, maybe you should put yourself in a voice accepting. Drop-ins, Derek likes to move around and he likes to interrupt the project manager all the time. When I managed guys at Dunwoody for 6 years, at one time we had 14 employees. The only way you can keep track of doing budgets and all this stuff, I did it at home. No way on earth. You teach 5 hours a day, that's commitment, right? And you go in your office and there's always personnel problem and kids, students and what's not. There's no way on earth you can do a budget in your office. No way. I could not within the time frame that I'm here. So I did them at night in my basement when nobody's interrupting me, nobody's calling. So as a project manager, get used to working everywhere. Mixing life, I call it mixing life and work. And on the other hand, we balance, Derek. So you might work one night at home and take the afternoon off on Friday. So that's how a lot of people guys do that. But the best way to do something that's needs your full attention, like budgeting, is in a place where you can't be interrupted. In the office, if you're a project manager working on a big project, you will be interrupted. It's a matter of time. Walk in, people like to walk in and ask you or visit with you or what's not. The hallway hangout. Do you guys do the hallway hangout too? You go walk around and Derek is here. Derek is talkative like Chad and he likes to hang around and talk. So be aware of that. And as a project manager, Derek, I can't just shut you off. I want you to be happy. You're working for me. So you think you walk around, hi Chad, how was your weekend? I'm going to say, good, and move her away? Of course not. As a good project manager, you're going to sit and talk a little bit with them. But be aware that your time is limited and you need to, a good manager is, like I said, guys, if you're short on time, you have to allocate the time at night when you're not interrupted. So, and another thing that you can do, Derek, is delegate. The worst thing that could like for example, if you're a project manager and you like to also put your hands in estimation, you get involved in Accubid, and that will burn all your time. So maybe instead of sitting myself and doing an estimating a project manager, maybe I delegate, taking off. I do one part and I give Matt the rest of it. Delegate things. Anything that can be done by your team should be done by your team. There is a reason why you're a project manager. And I know some project manager guys like to put their fingers in things because they like to. Um, but be aware that could burn your time too, easily burn your time. So delegate as much as you could. Delegate. Any comments, guys? Any questions about so-called preventative control techniques? Preventative control techniques. Before we move into the last thing, which is cost control, cost control. Any comments, any questions? We have periodic, which is the meetings and the logins and what's not. We have preventative, walk around and guess what's going on, feel what's going on and predict the problems before they occur and provide the solutions and show leadership, delegate and what's not. Cost control. Cost control, if you guys remember when we were at Egan, good project managers would not, Derek, wait until the accounting sent them their monthly sheets and it says, yeah, this project is $50,000 in the hole. You wouldn't wait until your accounting tells you this. A good company, guys, have their accounting and the project manager in sync. So they will get real-time information or at least weekly information about their project. So you know at the end of the project when you're building a stadium, on Friday, wherever they submit their timesheets, you can tell how much dollars have been allocated to your project. That's what you want to do. Where time, remember, success is measured in time and dollars. Are we on track? Have we finished what we're supposed to finish this week? Yup, done. Have we spent the amount of money that allocated to this week? This week, not just this month. This week, yup. Then we have a successful project. If we don't add them, then you have to interfere immediately. What should I do? You guys remember there's I don't know where we were when they talked about project. They fired the foreman. They're not performing. Halfway through, they're not done. They fired the foreman. They brought a new team to finish the project on track. So that might be part of what you intervention as a project manager. So you have to have a way of keeping track of your cost. Accubid, guys, and McCormick will give you this way. It will allocate the dollar value and a time frame for every single system, power system or lighting or low voltage systems, and part or phase of the project. First floor, power has been done and lighting has been done. So and then you can spread it over the duration of that power, and it will tell you every week what's the approximate amount of dollars that you should have been spent on labor and material and the amount of time. Of course, within this week, I should be done with 10% of the project, which is $10,000 because the project is $100,000, right? So that's what you keep. If I'm at 11, I'm okay. If I am at 15, I have to interfere, right? So you have to give yourself a little bit of fluctuation. So keep track on the dollar value. The only way you can do this one, guys, is through software that allocate the dollar value to every stage of your project. Every stage of your project. And the way people do it, Derek, is they keep track of what we budgeted for and what we spend, actual versus budgeted. And you can do it in two ways. You can do it on a monthly basis, minimum on a monthly basis, minimum. A good project manager, guys, do it on a weekly basis. What have we budgeted for this project this week and have we spent it? Are we on track? Yep. What have we spent? Dollar and time and money weekly. So estimate the items, cost, duration planning, budgeted cost, all this stuff you have to keep track of them. And you have to control your spending. Of course, you have a budget. How do you control your spending, Adam? You have a budget. I'm going to spend this week $10,000 because of my budget showed so. You can't spend more than $10,000. If you are to spend more than $10,000, you need explanation. Why did we spend $10,000? Then we spent $20,000. Then next week, these $10,000 have to be taken away from somewhere. You know what I mean? In order, remember, guys, ultimately, your destination at B. We're at A. When we're right here, Derek, we're at minus $10,000 in the hole. Right here, we're minus $20 in the hole. Now we're not done yet, but then you start intervening. Now at this one we're minus five. We're only minus $5,000. So we reached here. We are $0 in the hole. We're right at the money, right? So you keep interfering, adjusting the schedule, so you can get rid of the find the problem and solve them. Dollar values. And of course, you have to have the spending request notes and what's not. Keep track of what has been spent. The switchgear have been allocated. All the lights have been like quotation. The quotes that you do, guys, when we buy all the lighting fixtures. Yep, we got them. They're spent. They're accounted for. They're ready to go. So that's how you can keep track of your project and control it. Any comments, guys? Any questions? Any comments? Any questions? So that's basically, we'll wrap up Adam, our project management component. I want to summarize it in one word. A successful project is a project that will be done within budget, on time, with happy external customers, the owner of the project, and internal customers, the people who work for you, with a quality work. All these techniques, guys, and all this fluff that we talk about, the ultimate goal, that's how you gauge yourself, a successful project. Internal people are happy to work for you. External people want to hire you again to work on their projects. You made money for the company and you delivered on time. What else do you want? Isn't that what everybody wants? Everybody's happy. We did a quality work. The customer is happy to hire us again or recommend us for another company to build another hospital. And we made money for the company, and the employees who worked on the project are happy, and the owner, of course, is happy. So that's how do you get that happy, everybody's happy situation. Scheduling, tracking, control, being active project manager, pragmatic, not too solid, not too lean as a project manager. You kind of, and there is no magic word, Derek. If there's a magic word, everybody will be a project manager. Some people succeed. Your chemistry might make you fail. You know what I mean? It really is. Your demeanor, not fail, but make you successful, but not a very successful. Certain people, guys, have a demeanor, have it on them, charismatics, whatever, that they can ignite people, make them believe in them. That's what your job is, to make the people believe in you. In order to deliver the best project. And if you go higher in management than a project manager, Adam, and you become owner of a company, now you start playing at a completely different level, where now every project manager is your responsibility. So you become more as a leader than a project manager, creating people who are achievers like yourself. But your level, guys, most of us will probably a project manager, and then after that you go for different training or you discover it by yourself. Any comments, guys? Any questions? So like I said, that will wrap up, guys, 12 chapters of this book. I can't emphasize, I know you guys are designers, you're far away from project managers, and even reading this, Adam, if you read a book like this, even as an employee right now at Michelle Erickson, will help you think what project managers think, what they expect from you. Right? You're not a project manager now, but what they expect from you. So when the opportunity comes and you become a project manager, or you don't even wait for the opportunity to come, you start working on making the opportunity come, by excelling, right? How we all reach where we are, I hope, by excel. So you start doing the things that lead you to be a project manager, if that's what you want. Any comments, guys? Any questions? Comments, questions? Well, Adam, that will wrap up our project management. So just to summarize, guys, for these 7 weeks, we went over electrical estimating, that book, a great book, guys, in an inter-level electrical estimating, and we went through practical project management in terms of scheduling, keep track of the project. Comments, questions, gentlemen? Okay, so why don't you guys, that's it for my lectures. Tomorrow, like I said, we have another real project manager who's going to be here talking about construction, managing a project, and we'll talk a lot about budgets and all this stuff to see how they do it. And then that will be it. Then we'll send you to the industry. Okay, thank you.